The great chamber was silent. Captain Marcus Cole stood alone in the center of a room built for giants. Around him, thousands of alien faces looked down from seats that rose higher than any building on Earth. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had no faces at all, but they all shared one thing: they were afraid of humanity. Marcus kept his back straight. His uniform was clean and pressed. Behind him stood his small team. Dr. Emily Ward, who knew more about aliens than any human alive, and 3 guards, who looked very small in this very large room. The Grand Overseer floated above everyone else. His body was made of blue light, and when he spoke, the words appeared directly in Marcus's mind. "Humanity," the Overseer said. "You have been judged." Marcus did not move. He had expected this. For 50 years, humans had spread across the stars. They built colonies on dead worlds. They made friends with some species and enemies with others. They grew too fast. They asked too many questions. They refused to follow the old rules that every other species obeyed without question. The elder races did not like this. Humans made them nervous. "The Council has voted," the Overseer continued. "Earth will be quarantined. No human ship will leave your solar system. No alien ship will enter. This is permanent. This is final." A sound rose from the crowd. It was approval, relief. The dangerous young species would be locked away forever. Emily grabbed Marcus's arm. Her hand was shaking. "Marcus," she whispered. 8 billion people. They're condemning 8 billion people to a prison." Marcus said nothing. He was thinking. The Overseer raised one hand made of light. "Do you accept this judgment, human?" Every eye in the chamber turned to Marcus. He was supposed to bow his head. He was supposed to say yes. Every other species had accepted their punishments. That was how things worked in the galaxy. Marcus smiled. "No," he said. The chamber exploded with noise. Aliens shouted and screamed. Some laughed at the stupid human who thought he could refuse. The Overseer raised both hands, calling for silence. "You cannot refuse," the Overseer said. "The Council has spoken." "I invoke the right of the maze," Marcus said. Silence. Complete and total silence. Emily looked at Marcus with wide eyes. She knew what those words meant. She had read about it in old texts that most species had forgotten. The Overseer's light flickered. "That law is ancient. It has not been used in 10,000 years, but it still exists," Marcus said. "Any species facing extinction or permanent imprisonment may challenge their sentence. They may enter the labyrinth of souls. If they survive, they earn full membership in the Council, full rights, full protection, and if they fail," the Overseer said slowly, "their homeworld is destroyed." "I know." Emily pulled Marcus close. "Are you insane?" she hissed. "No one has ever survived that maze. Hundreds of species have tried. They all died." "Then we'll be the first," Marcus said. A new presence entered the chamber. The air grew cold. Light bent in strange ways. Something was coming. Something old. The Arbiter appeared. It had no body, not really. It was made of pure white light that hurt to look at directly. It was older than most of the species in this room. It was older than their civilizations. Some said the Arbiter had existed since the beginning of the universe itself. "I have heard the challenge," the Arbiter said. Its voice was like thunder and whispers at the same time. "The right of the maze is valid. Humanity may enter the labyrinth." The Overseer bowed his head. Even he could not argue with the Arbiter. "You have 30 days, the Arbiter continued, looking at Marcus. "Select 5 champions. Only 5 may enter. They will face 7 trials. If any champion dies, you fail. If you fail, Earth burns. If you succeed, humanity joins the Council as equals." Marcus nodded. "We understand. I do not think you do." Marcus felt cold down to his bones. "The maze tests everything you are. It will find your weaknesses. It will use your fears. It will offer you impossible choices. In 10,000 years, over 200 species have entered. None have returned. There's a first time for everything, Marcus said. The arbiter was silent for a long moment. Then it made a sound that might have been a laugh. Humans, you are either very brave or very foolish. Maybe both, Marcus admitted. The arbiter disappeared. The chamber slowly returned to normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. Marcus had just bet the entire human race on a game no one had ever won. Ambassador Vren approached Marcus after the session ended. Vren was tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. His species had been part of the council for 50,000 years. He had always been neutral toward humans, not friendly, but not hostile either. You have made a terrible mistake, Vren said quietly. Maybe, Marcus said. But living in a cage for eternity isn't living at all. The maze will destroy you. It has destroyed civilizations far older and wiser than yours. Then why did they fail? Vren paused. He looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then he leaned close to Marcus and spoke very softly. The maze tests what you value most. Every species failed because they valued the wrong things. They valued power. They valued survival. They valued victory. Vren pulled back. I do not know what humans value. Perhaps that is your only advantage. He walked away, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts. That night, Marcus sent a message to Earth. He sat in his small room on the station and recorded his words carefully. He explained what he had done. He explained the risk. He explained that humanity had 30 days to choose its champions. I know this is a lot to ask, Marcus said to the camera. I know I had no right to make this choice for all of you. But I couldn't accept a future where our children and their children live in a prison. I'd rather risk everything for a chance at freedom than accept a safe cage. He paused, took a breath. We need 5 people, the best we have. Not just the strongest or the smartest, the best of what makes us human. People who won't give up. People who will find a way when there is no way. People who will stand together when everything is trying to tear them apart. Marcus ended the recording and sent it to Earth. Then he sat in the darkness and wondered if he had just saved humanity or killed it. He wouldn't know the answer for 30 days. But one thing was certain. There was no going back now. Earth had never been so quiet and so loud at the same time. In every city, on every continent, people watched the news. They watched Marcus Cole explain what he had done. Some were angry. Some were scared. Some thought he was a hero. But everyone agreed on one thing: they needed to find 5 people who could save the world. The United Nations met within hours. Leaders from every country sat together and argued about who should go. Military generals wanted soldiers. Scientists wanted researchers. Politicians wanted diplomats. Everyone had an opinion. No one could agree. But slowly, names began to rise above the noise. Marcus Cole was the first choice. No one argued about this. He had started this. He had to finish it. He was a soldier and a leader. He had fought in 3 wars and never lost a battle. More importantly, he never left anyone behind. His soldiers loved him because he treated them like family. The second name was Dr. Emily Ward. She was already with Marcus on the station. Emily knew more about alien species than any human alive. She could speak 14 alien languages. She had spent 20 years studying how other civilizations thought and felt. But Emily had a secret that she told no one. She was terrified. She had panic attacks when things went wrong. She had always hidden this weakness, but she wondered if the maze would find it. The third choice took longer. The world held a tournament. The best fighters from every nation competed for one spot. Thousands entered. Only one would be chosen. Lieutenant James Park won. James was not the biggest fighter. He was not even the strongest. But he never quit. In the final round, he fought a man twice his size for 45 minutes. James was bleeding. His arm was probably broken, but he kept getting up, again and again, until his opponent simply could not continue. When asked why he kept fighting, James said, "Because giving up was never an option." James had another quality that made him perfect for the mission. He would die for his team. Not because he wanted to die, but because protecting others was more important to him than protecting himself. His father had been a firefighter who died saving children from a burning building. James had spent his whole life trying to live up to that example. The fourth choice surprised everyone. Rachel Hayes was only 26 years old. She was an engineer who worked on the Mars colony. 2 years ago, the colony's life support system failed. 50,000 people had 12 hours of air left. Rachel fixed a system that 3 teams of senior engineers said could not be fixed. She used parts from a coffee machine and a children's toy. When asked how she did it, she said, "I just looked at the problem differently." Rachel was young and sometimes rude. She argued with authority. She broke rules when she thought the rules were stupid. But she could solve problems that no one else could solve. She saw solutions where others saw only walls. The fifth and final choice almost did not happen. David Miller had been a diplomat. 10 years ago, he led a first contact mission with a new alien species. Something went wrong. The aliens attacked. David had to choose between staying to fight with his team or running to get help. He ran. By the time help arrived, his entire team was dead. David survived, but he was destroyed inside. He left the diplomatic service. He disappeared for years. Some said he became a drunk. Some said he tried to end his own life. The guilt ate him alive every single day. But before that terrible mission, David had been the best negotiator humanity had ever produced. He had stopped wars with nothing but words. He could read people, human or alien, like books. He knew what they wanted before they knew it themselves. The selection committee found David living alone in a small town in Montana. He did not want to go. He said he was not worthy. He said he would fail again. Marcus Cole flew to Montana personally. They sat together in David's small kitchen. David looked old and tired. His hands shook when he poured coffee. "I can't do this," David said. "I'll let you down." "I let everyone down." "You made a mistake," Marcus said. "One mistake. In a lifetime of service. My team died because of me. Your team died because aliens killed them. You survived so you could save others. And now I need you to save everyone." David was silent for a long time. Then he looked at Marcus with eyes full of pain. "What if I freeze again? What if I run?" "Then we fail together," Marcus said. "But I don't think you'll run. I think you've been waiting 10 years for a chance to prove that you're not the man you think you are." David agreed to join the team, but he made no promises. He did not know if he could keep them. The 5 champions gathered at a training facility in Switzerland. They had 20 days to become a team. It did not go well at first. Rachel and James fought constantly. Rachel thought James was too aggressive, too focused on violence. James thought Rachel was too young, too arrogant. They screamed at each other during training. Once, James walked out and did not come back for 3 hours. Emily stayed quiet. She studied everyone, but shared nothing about herself. She was too afraid to let anyone see her weakness. She thought they would send her home if they knew how scared she was. David barely spoke at all. He did his job. He practiced his skills, but he kept himself separate from the group. He did not deserve their friendship. He did not deserve to be there at all. Marcus watched all of this. He knew they were not ready. 5 skilled individuals were not the same as one team, and the maze would test them as a team. On the 15th day, Marcus gathered everyone together. He told them to sit down and share one thing they had never told anyone else. One fear. One secret. One shame. Marcus went first. He told them about his daughter, who died in a car accident when she was 7 years old. He told them he still talked to her photograph every night. He told them he was terrified of losing anyone else. One by one, the others shared their truths. James admitted he was scared of being weak. Rachel confessed she blamed herself for her brother's death when she was 14. Emily finally told them about her panic attacks. David talked about his team. He cried. It was the first time he had cried in 10 years. Something changed that night. They were not just 5 people anymore. They were a family. The day of departure arrived. Billions of people watched the broadcast. The 5 champions stood together in front of a ship, that would take them to the maze. The sky was gray. It looked like even the weather was worried. Marcus looked at his team. His family. Whatever happens, he said, we face it together. They boarded the ship. The door closed. Earth grew smaller and smaller behind them, until it was just a tiny blue dot in the darkness of space. 7 days later, they arrived at the maze, and nothing would ever be the same again. The maze was not what they expected. It was not a building or a structure. It was a world. The ship dropped them on a platform floating in empty space. Stars surrounded them in every direction. But these were not normal stars. They pulsed with colors that had no names. They moved in patterns that made no sense. Emily felt dizzy just looking at them. In front of them stood a door. Just a door, hanging in the void with nothing around it. It was made of black metal covered in symbols that glowed with soft white light. Welcome. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. A figure appeared before them, tall, thin, wrapped in dark robes. It had no face. Where its face should have been, there was only smooth darkness. I am the warden, it said. I have watched over this maze for longer than your species has existed. I have seen 200 civilizations enter these doors. None have left. Marcus stepped forward. We understand the risks. Do you? The warden moved closer. It had no feet. It simply floated. The maze has 7 levels. Each level tests a different quality. You have 72 hours to complete all 7. If any of you dies, you fail. If you fail, your world burns. What are the tests? Rachel asked. You will discover them as you go. That is part of the trial. The warden gestured toward the door. Enter when you are ready. Time begins when the door opens. The team looked at each other. There was fear in their eyes, but also determination. They had come too far to turn back now. Marcus opened the door. The first level was a room made entirely of glass. The walls were glass. The floor was glass. Even the air seemed to shimmer like glass. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a puzzle on it, hundreds of small pieces that needed to fit together in a specific way. Intelligence, Emily said. This level tests intelligence. They gathered around the puzzle and began to work. At first, it seemed simple. The pieces had obvious connections. But as they worked, the puzzle changed. Pieces that fit perfectly suddenly did not fit at all. New pieces appeared. Old pieces disappeared. Hours passed. They made progress, then lost it. The puzzle seemed designed to frustrate them. Every time they got close to solving it, something changed. Emily worked the hardest. This was her specialty, understanding systems, finding patterns. But nothing worked. The puzzle did not follow any logic she could understand. It's impossible, she said, finally stepping back. The rules keep changing. There's no solution. James slammed his fist against the pedestal. Then how are we supposed to beat it? Rachel had been quiet, watching the puzzle instead of working on it. She tilted her head, thinking, what if we're not supposed to beat it? She said. Everyone looked at her. Think about it, Rachel continued. The puzzle is designed to frustrate us. It wants us to keep trying the expected solution. But what if the test isn't about solving the puzzle? What if it's about realizing the puzzle doesn't need to be solved? She walked to the other side of the room, where another door waited. She pushed it. It opened easily. The door was never locked, Rachel said with a small smile. We were so focused on the puzzle that we never thought to just walk around it. They moved through the door and into the second level. This level was a battlefield. The ground was rocky and broken. Red light filled the sky. And standing between them and the exit were creatures, dozens of them. They were made of shadow and hate. They had claws and teeth and eyes that burned with hunger. Strength, James said, already moving forward. This is my test. He attacked the first creature. His fist connected hard. The creature fell. James smiled, but then the creature got back up. It was bigger now, stronger. James fought harder. He used every technique he knew. He beat the creatures down again and again. But each time they rose, they came back stronger. Soon they were twice their original size. Then 3 times. "James, stop!" David shouted. "Look at them! They're feeding on your aggression." James did not want to stop. Every part of him wanted to fight. That was who he was. That was all he knew. But he trusted David. He lowered his fists. "What do we do?" James asked, breathing hard. David walked forward slowly. The creatures watched him but did not attack. He was not fighting. He was not afraid. "They're not real enemies," David said. "They're a test. They want us to fight. The more we fight, the stronger they become. The only way to win is to refuse to play." He kept walking. The creatures parted before him like water around a stone. They could not attack someone who was not fighting. One by one, the others followed. James went last. It was the hardest thing he had ever done, walking past enemies without throwing a punch. But he did it. The creatures faded to nothing behind them. The 3rd level was the worst so far. It was a simple room with 2 doors. In front of one door was a pedestal with a button on it. Above the door, words glowed in white light. "One must stay. One must press the button and remain here forever. Only then will the door open for the others." "Sacrifice," Marcus said quietly. "This level tests sacrifice." The team stood in silence. They all knew what this meant. Someone had to stay behind. Someone had to give up everything so the others could continue. "I'll do it," Marcus said. "This is my responsibility. I brought us here." "No," Emily said. "You're our leader. They need you." "I'll stay," David said. "My life is already broken. At least this way. It means something." "Nobody is staying," Rachel said. Everyone looked at her. Rachel was already walking toward the pedestal, but not to press the button. She was studying it, looking at the mechanisms, thinking, "The maze expects us to accept the rules," she said. "Every other species probably stood here and argued about who would sacrifice themselves. But who says we have to play by their rules?" She pulled a small device from her pocket, a toolkit she had brought from Earth. She began taking apart the pedestal. "What are you doing?" James asked. "Finding another way. There's always another way." It took her 30 minutes. She rewired the mechanism, bypassed the sensor, and created a loop that made the system think someone was standing there when no one was. The door opened. "Everyone through," Rachel said. They ran, all 5 of them, together. The warden appeared as they entered the 4th level. For the first time, there was something different about it. Something like surprise. "Interesting," the warden said. "In 10,000 years, no species has refused to make the sacrifice. They all believed the rules could not be broken." "We're human," Marcus said. "Breaking rules is what we do." The warden was silent for a long moment. Then it spoke again. "Perhaps you are different. Perhaps you are not. We shall see." It disappeared. The team looked at each other. They had passed 3 levels. 4 more remained. They were tired. They were scared. But they were still together. And as long as they were together, they had a chance. The 4th level broke them. They entered a room that was completely white. No walls, no ceiling, no floor, just endless white in every direction. Standing in the center was a mirror. But it was not a normal mirror. It showed things that were not there. "Truth," Emily whispered. "This level tests truth." Words appeared in the air above the mirror. To pass, each must speak their deepest shame. Speak it aloud. Let the others hear. Only complete honesty will open the door. David's face went pale. James's hands curled into fists. Emily started to shake. Rachel looked at the floor. Marcus closed his eyes. "I'll go first," Marcus said. He stepped forward. The mirror swirled, and images appeared, a little girl with brown hair and a bright smile, Marcus's daughter. Then the images changed. A car crash. A hospital. A small coffin. "My daughter died when she was 7, Marcus said. His voice was steady, but tears ran down his face. "But that's not my shame. My shame is that I wasn't there. I was on a mission. I chose my work over her birthday party. She died on her birthday, and I wasn't there to protect her. He paused. The hardest part was next. And my real shame, the thing I've never told anyone, is that I invoked the maze not to save humanity. I did it because I couldn't accept losing. I was too proud to let the council defeat me. I risked 8 billion lives because of my pride. The mirror flashed. Marcus had spoken truth. He stepped back. Unable to look at the others, Emily went next. The mirror showed her at conferences, receiving awards, being praised as a genius. Then it showed her alone at night, hands shaking, struggling to breathe. "I'm a fraud," Emily said. "Everyone thinks I'm so smart, so confident. But I've had panic attacks my whole life. Sometimes I can't breathe. Sometimes I can't think. I've hidden it because I was afraid people would think I was weak. I've lied to everyone who ever believed in me." The mirror flashed. Rachel stepped forward before she could change her mind. The mirror showed a boy young, maybe 10 years old. Her brother. Then fire. So much fire. "When I was 14, there was a fire at our house," Rachel said. "I was supposed to be watching my brother. But I was on the phone with friends. I didn't smell the smoke until it was too late. I got out. He didn't." She was crying now. "I could have saved him. If I had been paying attention. If I had cared more about him than about my stupid phone call. He died because I wasn't good enough." The mirror flashed. James walked forward slowly. The mirror showed him fighting. Always fighting. Winning. Hurting people. "My shame is simple," James said. "I like hurting people. When I fight, I feel alive. I tell myself I'm protecting others. I'm serving my country. I'm doing good, but the truth is, I enjoy the violence. I enjoy winning. I'm afraid that deep down, I'm not a hero. I'm just a man who likes to hurt things." The mirror flashed. Only David remained. He had not moved. He was staring at the mirror like it was a monster. "David," Marcus said gently. "It's okay. It's not okay," David whispered. "What I did is not okay." But he stepped forward anyway. The mirror showed his team the first contact mission. 6 people who trusted him, who followed him, who died. "Everyone knows I ran," David said. "Everyone knows my team died because I went for help instead of staying to fight. But that's not the whole truth." He took a shaky breath. "The truth is, I didn't run to get help. I ran because I was afraid. I saw those aliens attack, and I froze. And then I ran. Not toward the ship to call for backup, just away. I hid in a cargo container for 3 hours while my team fought and died. I only called for help after the screaming stopped." Tears poured down his face. "I'm not a coward who made a hard choice. I'm a coward who let 6 people die because I was too scared to stand beside them. I've spent 10 years letting everyone think I was trying to save them when I was just trying to save myself." The mirror flashed. The door opened. No one spoke. No one needed to. They had all shown their worst selves, and somehow, they were still standing together. James walked over to David and put a hand on his shoulder. "You're here now," James said. "That matters." The 5th level tested fear. They entered a dark space that immediately separated them. One moment they were together, the next they were alone. Each person found themselves in their own nightmare. Emily was surrounded by darkness so complete she could not see her own hands. She screamed, but no sound came out. Her worst fear being alone in the dark with nothing but her panic. James found himself tied to a chair, unable to move. People walked past him, hurt and crying, and he could do nothing to help them. His worst fear being helpless. Rachel stood in a room full of broken machines. Everything she touched fell apart. Nothing worked. She could not fix anything. Her worst fear being useless, unable to solve the problem. David was in a white room with no doors. Years passed. Decades. Centuries. No one came. No one remembered his name. His worst fear being forgotten. Marcus watched Earth burn. His team died one by one, and he could not save them. His wife, his friends, everyone he loved, gone. His worst fear, losing everyone again. The test had a rule. To escape your nightmare, you had to overcome your fear. And then you had to enter the nightmares of your teammates and pull them out. Rachel broke free first. She realized that even if she could not fix the machines, she was still herself. Her value was not in what she could do, it was in who she was. The nightmare shattered around her. She found herself in Emily's darkness. She called out, and Emily heard her voice. "Emily! Follow my voice. You're not alone." Emily crawled through the dark, following Rachel's words, until she found her hand. Together, they broke Emily free. One by one, they saved each other. Rachel and Emily pulled James from his chair. James carried David out of his white room. All four of them entered Marcus's nightmare and stood between him and the flames. "We're here," Emily said. "You haven't lost us. You won't lose us." Marcus opened his eyes. The nightmare ended. The 6th level tested loyalty. It was simple. The warden appeared to each person separately and made them an offer. Betray your team. Point to one person who should be eliminated. Do this, and you will be sent home safely. The others will face the consequences, but you will live. Marcus refused without hesitation. "I would rather die with my team than live without them." Emily refused through her tears. "They accepted me even when they knew I was broken. I will never betray that." Rachel laughed at the offer. "Are you serious? These people are my family now." The answer is no. James's refusal was simple. "I don't leave people behind. Ever." David was the last to be tested. The warden appeared to him in that white room of forgetting. "You've already betrayed a team once," the warden said. "It would be so easy to do it again. No one would blame you. No one would know." David was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. "You're right. I betrayed my team before. I was a coward. I ran. But these people know that. They know what I did. And they still stand beside me. They gave me something I don't deserve a second chance." He looked directly at the warden's empty face. "I will not waste it." "No." The warden was silent. When it finally spoke, there was something new in its voice. Something like shock. 17 species reached this level. 14 of them took the deal. The warden paused. "You are the first team where every single member refused." The warden disappeared. The team came back together. They did not need to ask what happened. They could see it in each other's eyes. Every single one of them had chosen loyalty over survival. "One more level," Marcus said. They walked toward the final door together. Whatever waited for them, they would face it as one. The final level was nothing but white light. No walls, no floor, no ceiling. Just endless, empty white that stretched forever in every direction. The warden waited for them in the center of the void. For the first time, it seemed smaller. Less frightening. Almost tired. "You have reached the 7th level," the warden said. "The test of wisdom." The team stood together, shoulders touching, hearts beating fast. They had survived 6 impossible trials. They had faced their fears, spoken their truths, and refused to betray each other. They were exhausted. They were hurt, but they were still standing. "What do we have to do?" Marcus asked. "Answer one question," the warden replied. "Answer it correctly, and you pass. Answer it wrong, and you fail." The warden paused. "The question is this: what is humanity worth?" Marcus stepped forward. He had prepared for this. He had thought about it during the long journey to the maze. He had the perfect speech ready. "Humanity is worth everything." Marcus began. "We have created art that moves the soul. We have built cities that reach the sky. We have loved. We have dreamed. We have—" "Stop." The warden raised one hand. Marcus fell silent. "I have heard this answer before," the warden said. "I have heard it from 100 species. They all spoke of their achievements. Their art, their science, their love. It was not enough. Achievements do not prove worth. Try again." Emily stepped forward. Then let me speak of potential. Humanity is young. We are just beginning to understand the universe. Given time, we could become something greater than we are. We could join the elder races. We could contribute to— Stop. The warden shook its faceless head. Potential is not worth either. Every species had potential. Many had more potential than yours. Potential is just a promise that might never be kept. Try again. The team looked at each other. What else was there? If achievement and potential were not enough, what could they possibly say? David walked forward slowly. He did not have a speech prepared. He did not have an argument. He had only a question. Before I answer, David said, "May I ask you something?" The warden tilted its head. "You may ask. I may not answer. What happened to the species that built this maze?" Silence. The white void seemed to grow heavier. The warden did not move, did not speak. The silence stretched on for so long that David wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. Finally, the warden spoke. Its voice was different now. Smaller, sadder. "What do you mean?" "This maze is old," David said. "Older than any civilization in the council. It was built by someone with incredible power and knowledge. But they're not here anymore. You're here. Alone, watching species come and die for 10,000 years. The warden remained silent. "You're not a judge?" David continued. "You're not a test. You're a survivor. Someone left you here to wait. And you've been waiting for so long that everyone forgot to ask about you." Rachel stepped forward to stand beside David. "We've been treating you like an obstacle," she said. "Everyone does. They see the maze as something to beat, something to survive. But no one ever asked if you needed something. No one ever wondered if you were lonely." Emily joined them. "You've been watching species fail for 10,000 years. You've seen their fear, their pride, their desperation. But has anyone ever shown you kindness?" The warden made a sound. It was not a word. It was something older and deeper, a sound of pain that had been held inside for countless centuries. "I was not always this," the warden said. Its voice broke. "I was once like you. I had a name. I had a people. We called ourselves the Makers. We built this maze as a gift, a way to test young species, to find those worthy of joining the stars." "What happened to them?" Marcus asked softly. "We died. A sickness. A war. I no longer remember. It was so long ago." The warden looked at its hands. If they could be called hands. "I am the last. I was left behind to keep the maze running. To wait for someone worthy. But no one ever passed. And no one ever asked about me." James stepped forward. The soldier who loved to fight now spoke with gentleness. "What do you want?" The warden was quiet for a very long time. When it spoke again, its voice was barely a whisper. "I want to not be alone anymore." Marcus understood. Finally, he understood why every other species had failed. They came to the maze thinking of themselves, their survival, their victory. They never thought about the warden. They never realized that the final test was not about proving worth it, was about showing compassion to someone who had been forgotten. He walked forward and made an offer that no one had ever made before. "Come with us," Marcus said. "Come to Earth. Be part of our civilization. You have been alone for 10,000 years, watching others, testing others, never being seen yourself. We see you now. We see you, and we are asking you to come home with us." The warden's form flickered. "I cannot leave the maze. I am bound to it." "Then we'll figure out how to free you," Rachel said. "That's what we do. We solve problems." "We'll tell your story," Emily added. "We'll make sure the Makers are not forgotten." "You'll have a family," David said. "People who care about you. People who will ask how you're feeling, not what you can do for them. You'll never be alone again." James finished. The warden stood perfectly still. The white void around them began to change. Colors appeared, soft blues and greens, like an earth sky. The light became warmer, Gentler. In 10,000 years, the warden said. No one has ever offered me this. No one has ever treated me as something other than an obstacle to overcome. It looked at each of them in turn. Then it made a sound that might have been a laugh. Or might have been a sob. Or might have been both. You have not answered my question, the warden said. I asked what humanity is worth. Marcus smiled. Maybe we just did. The void shattered like glass. The team found themselves standing in the Galactic Council chamber. The same chamber where, weeks ago, humanity had been condemned, but now it was filled with thousands of aliens, all watching, all waiting. The Arbiter appeared. The Grand Overseer floated above. Every eye in the galaxy was focused on the 5 humans standing in the center of the room, and beside them stood the Warden. The chamber erupted in chaos. The Warden had never left the maze, not once in 10,000 years. Its presence here was impossible. The Arbiter raised a hand for silence. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of ages. Warden, you have left the labyrinth. This has never happened. What is the meaning of this? The Warden stepped forward. It stood taller now, stronger. Its voice rang through the chamber like a bell. Humanity has not passed the trial, the Warden declared. The chamber gasped. Marcus's heart stopped. They have ended it. Silence. The maze was built to find worthy species. For 10,000 years, I tested them. They fought. They struggled. They sacrificed. They tried to prove their worth through strength and cleverness. They all failed because they were trying to beat me, to overcome me. The Warden turned to face the 5 humans. Humanity did not try to beat me. They tried to help me. They saw that I was alone and offered me a home. They saw that I was forgotten and promised to remember my people. They showed compassion to their judge. The Warden faced the council. The maze is closed forever. There will be no more tests. Any species capable of offering kindness to someone who holds their fate in their hands, that species does not need to prove their worth. They have already proven it. The Arbiter was silent for a long moment. Then it turned to the Grand Overseer. The judgment against humanity is reversed. They are granted full membership in the Galactic Council. Not as equals to the younger races, but as equals to the eldest among us. 1 year later, Earth had changed. The Warden lived there now. It had chosen a new name, Ward, after Dr. Emily Ward, who had first shown it kindness. It served as humanity's ambassador to the galaxy. But more than that, it had become part of Earth's family. Marcus retired to a quiet house by the sea. He still talked to his daughter's photograph every night. But now he also talked about the good things that had happened. The family he had found, the world he had saved. Emily wrote a book about the trial. It became the most translated work in galactic history. She still had panic attacks sometimes. But now she had friends who helped her through them. James opened a school, not for fighting for peace. He taught young people how to resolve conflicts without violence. He was not very good at it at first. But he kept trying. Rachel designed the first human-built starship. It was named the Second Chance, in honor of David. David became Earth's greatest diplomat. He negotiated a dozen peace treaties. He saved millions of lives. And slowly, year by year, he learned to forgive himself. On the anniversary of the trial, the 5 of them gathered on a beach at sunset. Ward was there too, watching the colors in the sky with wonder. I never saw a sunset before Earth, Ward said. The makers lived underground. I had never seen the sky change colors. A group of children ran past them, laughing. One of them stopped and tugged on Ward's robe. Tell us the story again, the child said. The story of how the humans won the maze. Ward looked at the child. Then at the 5 humans who had changed its existence. Then at the setting sun painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. We won, Ward said, by choosing not to fight. The child tilted her head. That doesn't make sense, Rachel laughed. Yeah, she said. That's kind of our thing. The sun set over the ocean. The stars came out, one by one. And somewhere out there, among those countless points of light, The galaxy watched humanity with new eyes. They had expected conquerors. They had expected warriors. Instead, they got something far more dangerous. They got a species that could see loneliness in a monster and offer it a home, and that, more than any weapon or technology, would change everything.